This is the top 4 of Season 10. Very soon to be a completely, utterly dead meta. Everything we're seeing from Spark of Hope looks like it's going to really change things up. If not in some of the cards that you'll continue to see play, like Entourage and Vader's Fist, I'm sure. Definitely in the characters, a lot of new exciting stuff there. So forgive me if I don't express extreme excitement over either of these decks. They are a little bit old news to me, but this should be a very interesting match regardless. Very interesting throwaway there from NightBring3r, who is playing the Talzin Watts. And it looks to me like Reflex got everything you wanted. NightBring3r not doing bad here though. Not doing bad at all. And this top cut was established pre-Snoke/Watto errata. So let's keep that in mind as we move it on through. No Fear in Deadman for Reflex. That's the one thing he's missing, but he's happy to resolve resources here. And he is certainly happy to be on the fighting pit. He did forget to grab his starting resources, but see if I can get him to... There we go. All right, hey. And I'm sure that NightBring3r is pretty happy to have gotten a base resource side there. Being able to flip to the +2 with Talzin with pretty reasonable chances is good. But Fighting Pit is going to interrupt that, and Watto takes 2 damage. Picks himself up another blank. Wouldn't be surprised to see Watt come out, try to find some focus. Although any focus that he does find is likely to get hidden motived away. And we're seeing an interesting discard choice here from Reflex. He's going to throw away the Sinister Piece, which I agree with. He's already thinking about what he might have to discard to get Vader's dice back into the pool. And not even a reroll before this Talzin ability. So that's pretty ballsy, I think. Going to go ahead and take resources. Pick up his 1 additional from Watt, run out an Entourage, and see where that takes him. Fickle Mercenary is pretty good here. If Vader is resolving his resource dice just to take your Fickle, you're calling that a win, basically. And the Fickle also does have its own Disrupt side just to keep him off of Fear and Deadman money, and even possibly paid sides on Vader dice themselves or Fist. Probe is kind of a non-starter. And Reflex has decided he's not going to mitigate this round, and his options on what he can actually resolve are just decreasing by the moment. Definitely doesn't want to get rid of Probe, and I would be surprised to see him not Respite here. I think he should Respite the FOST, and maybe he does pitch Probe to reroll that Vader die prior to Respite. If he does that and finds money on Vader, then he goes, okay, well, I'll just start my next round with Fist. And a Probe into 5 never feels good. Not sure what the reasoning there is, to be honest. I guess, under most circumstances, I would say that's bad. So let me rephrase. He's worried about Delph. But trying to get out of Delph by firing a Probe into 5 is got to be one of the worst feeling things. So Delph for Fist, or I guess Delph for Pirate Tank wouldn't be great. But I think if you're Gonna shoot that into 5. Just kind of have to take what you get. I personally would have used the probe to reroll Vader's die, but the downside was certainly there. Watto's die stranded without a cash to pay for it on the outset. We'll see this 2 indirect goes straight into Stormtrooper. Entourage die comes back out. Maybe hits that 1 and 6 on the resource. Definitely does not want to discard either of those 2 cards. I don't know how hard he would try to get money out of Watto. Certainly not going to discard the Witch Magic. Finds a Disrupt. So Watto, with 2 life remaining, with only 2 damage dealt across the table, and no follow-on discards. There's an argument to be made just to fire this 2 range right into the Stormtrooper. The 2 damage is unlikely to be particularly significant, and that would cause Reflex to kill his own Stormtrooper with the best defense. But he doesn't draw it anyway, so it's a moot decision. And the double delve with nothing to delve into package. It's always a risk running that card. That's why I don't particularly like it. 2 money, 2 shield, nothing to spend the money on, and Fear and Deadman is not online. Whiffing on the top card, no Talzin ability, but oh, those odds. Oh, I gotta look at this deck list again. Let me see just how many evens are in the deck. I think it might just be Planetary Bombardment. Like there's a probe. Yep. So 3 evens in the deck, and he hits 2 of them off of the Witch Magic. Saying melee there, getting the reroll. Okay, so he gets his money back, but this is going to be 1 dead Watto and wounded side character. Make sure he gets his 3 damage in. There we go. All right. Talzin did have 0 shield. It's a focus. We could pull out some serious cash. I don't know why Reflex wouldn't just forsaken that focus. It solves so many issues. If he's just baiting into being able to take care of the Entourage one. And, yep, no point looking at that. That is still an even. And no, I don't know why he wouldn't just look at his opponents. A little bit of hand info goes a long way. Has to forsaken that. And then hidden motive to take care of either follow-on resource. Which if NightBring3r decides not to discard this other delve in search of a natural resource, a smart move to play around hidden motive would be to focus the Talzin die instead of the Watt die. But yep, them's his fighting pits. I keep forgetting about. Like it's staring me right in the face, and I'm forgetting about it. One of those things that you don't encounter too often, except against Vader, and like Vader isn't exceedingly common at the moment. Does get his dollar. This shuffle effect would have been real nice before rolling Talzin out, but he does get a hired muscle. Basically no follow-on. Wants him to re-roll off of that disrupt before he resolves his FOST die. Delve's certainly not going to be the one discarded because he's really banking on being able to play a fist and catch up. But he can't afford to just completely let this entourage die go unresolved. So I think that was NightBring3r calling it. Yep. So there's no way I can catch up here. The Fear and Deadman was pretty big. And I think there were some sequencing issues on NightBring3r's side with how he tried to generate resources round one. I have to go back and rewatch that and see everything again. But I do think that was not the best. And we'll see Reflex pitching everything except the Vader Saber. Vader Saber brings the heat. Now he's got double Vader Saber. He does have the respite, so he gets to roll out the Saber right off the get. He does not get his fresh supplies, though, so that'll either be re-roll fodder or for next round. No natural resources on Watto. And a card to replace the respite. Vigilance is a good save for round two. If absolutely nothing seems to be going NightBring3r's way, though, and he has to rely on focus for round one, maybe playing Vigilance is good, but I think Reflex is more likely just to play this Vader Saber and deal with whatever comes right now. Vader is aggressive. That's his entire deal. 5 money, a power action from Watto, and a Talzin focus onto money from the entourage. Gives him entourage, fickle starts. Says reroll that base side. Now, if this fails, okay, well, not exactly a failure. Doesn't look good. One of those situations where you haven't really gotten yourself out of a situation because both of these Vader dice are going to get re-rolled. Looks like he's also re-rolling off that +2 to a worse side. The odds of that were really low, so I don't blame him for that. The upside would have been absolutely insane. Vigilance, going to eat it? That's a hard call. But pays off in spades. Going to have 2 money here. He's going to get the battlefield control. He's going to start with fresh supplies if he wants it. But one of those dice go away. Would have been able to turn that into 7 damage. What it is. Anyway, you could see Reflex just get a fist out first action on his next round. But I don't see him discarding the best defense for any reason at all. Smart move there. Vader does roll those double shield sides on occasion, and you don't want to give them to the Stormtrooper, and you don't want to sit there and pass a million times for them to be useful in Vader, so take one off now. Natural resource. Entourage and this other fickle, or this other entourage and fickle are coming out. Oh, no. Unless Reflex wants to take 3 damage to prevent 2 resources. Don't think is the right move. Passes. We will still see a Talzin focus. Now, what Reflex will do is take 3 damage to prevent 4 onto Vader, assuming NightBring3r does go ahead and focus into the special on Entourage. But with all this deck thinning, it might actually be an even card on top. Should be 3 out of 23 remaining, I think. Check. Yep, it was 23. And Disrupt says, "You're not starting with fist. I need to keep you nice and manageable." Now, my question is, with this amount of money at the start, does Nightbringer keep one of these Vandalizes to take care of the Vader Saber? I think he saw the other Vader Saber get discarded, right? Yeah. So, getting rid of it, spending 3 character dice, really decreases the amount of pressure. And playing around best defense pretty well there. I don't think he keeps both of them. I think there was an argument to be made for keeping one. But he does get his hired muscle, his other Fickle. He's not going to lose a Fickle fight today. Reflex finds himself 5 damage. And only 1 mitigation card in Nightbringer's hand. It is at odds. Wants to use it on the Vader's lightsaber. That's the most efficient place to be used. Boom, reach the stars. About to be 1 dead Watto. He's 6 damage, including this other dollar spent. Watto falls. Another Vader die gets added to the pool. And Reflex still has money to pick up with fresh supplies. Will allow him to best defense, doubt, and hidden motive. Going to walk out of this possibly with a dead Stormtrooper, but certainly not a very damaged Darth Vader. 4 damage to follow up. It looks fine. It's a perfectly fine amount of damage. He'll take it. Probably goes to Watt, I think. Yep. And he has to wait until his next action to resolve that other Vader die. And representing Forsaken. Not the exact result I think Nightbringer was hoping for. He kind of wants focus here. If he can't find focus, and doesn't want to pitch any of his damage cards to pick up the slack, then he ends up having to play Dooku's Solar Sailor. Isn't bad, but also not exactly Fickle Mercenary and Hired Muscle. Now he could just go re-rolling. Fine. We'll see what Reflex says here. He says resource. Says I don't want you in delve range. But I think that worked out a little bit better for Nightbringer. And that disrupt is problematic. It's gonna be hard to pick up fresh supplies. Stormtrooper does not hit his 1 in 6 a resource. And Talzin looking and finding an odd. Now with a focus on board, 3 damage right off the rip. Does one of those dice go to kill Stormtrooper? Yes, it does. Unlucky doubt. Very unlucky doubt there. I don't have Forsaken. Let me just put 2 more damage into Watt. Puts Nightbringer at 14 health total remaining. 20 if you count both copies of Witch Magic, and a full success, which, if last game was anything to go by, that's nowhere near guaranteed. I don't think he needs to get super ballsy with that entourage. Probably thinking about it the way it plays out if he runs out Dooku Sailor and then tries to find focus there to get the other entourage back to special after picking up the money from this one. Gonna go ahead and forgo. Oh, is he going for it? Oh, gonna get double use out of Fickle. I am kind of on board with the Watt power action for Solar Sailor plan there. But if that last card in Reflex hand was a Vigilance, that certainly would have really interrupted that plan. Uninspiring use of the Fickle Mercenary. But natural special, that's going to be a 8 damage slam right into Vader's dome. At this point, I think you start discarding Sudden Impact, Dooku Sailor, and add on. I would discard everything but Hired Muscle to try to find a either the natural special on the other entourage or a natural resource on Talzin. We made that those 10 damage specials would have been brutal. Brutal. He's gonna get 9 damage anyway, and nothing to laugh at. Landing dock, interrupting plans. Oh no, what a shame. Only a dead stormtrooper and 8 damage dealt to Vader in one round. So if you've got the dice, the low health of the Vader deck overall can come back to bite you in the face of these entourages. Everything is working out a lot better for NightBring3r. 2 even cards left in this stack of 15. But he's got the probe. And it could be a big one. Got the probe. He does have a Witch Magic. Oh, mama. 11 damage represented on board. At odds doesn't solve the problem. I think you just have to deal with Watt being dead this round. I think you just add odds one of those Vader dice and comes back in, and hopefully you only have one dead character. Still 8 damage on board. Not the best, but I think Reflex just tosses away this Maul's lightsaber. Vader die back in. Find a Fear and Deadman, or if he can find that foresight for the Fear and Deadman. Huge pain. I don't think he's going to be playing Vader's Fist and Maul's lightsaber, so I think he could have afforded to toss away a card, and Reflex should be counting out his lightsaber damage. Okay, there we go. Did pay for it. Picking up resources, I don't think does Reflex any good here. But on the off chance, I think NightBring3r should be getting those Spickles in the pool. Entourage is certainly more aggressive, but and here comes the probe. Gonna get the Doubt Forsaken. Does get the Fearing Deadman. He's not sorry to see that go. There goes one way to end the game for Reflex. And there's that foresight he was looking for. I think it is time. I think you just get Talzin out there, or you pick who you want to live. Probably Talzin. And he gets a 2. 2 out of 3. Forces the kill onto Talzin. Makes sense. You got the 3, and then he can keep Talzin alive. But healing 2 offered makes no sense. Reflex in a bit of a pickle if he sits on that damage. And all NightBring3r has to do is add another die into the pool and out of Forsaken. Only having to contend with the Doubt and the landing dock power action. Walking himself into Forsaken. His next die roll. I think it has to be Watt. These are the things that you have to be planning around. There's no reason not to Forsaken that. I don't think, unless he really wants to hold off for the second Entourage. He might. And now that opportunity's gone. No need for Doubt or landing dock yet. The focus to threaten to end the game. Alright, that absolutely has to be doubted. Yep. Could not afford to take 3 in 1 action and then have to landing dock or that. I think you just do your 1 here. Then pitch to reroll Entourage. 33% lethal sides once you pitch to reroll Entourage if he does this 1 fickle damage. Don't think rolling both of them is good. You only have 1 better side that you can resolve on fickle. And not quite lethal, but is, well, I mean, if he resolves the 2 indirect here, and then Reflex passes, he focuses to 2 direct off of the Fickle Mercenary. Reflex uses landing dock, and then if it hits the 1 and 6, it hits the 1 and 6, and NightBring3r wins. Anything else, I think he just ends with the claim. I certainly think that was a mistake. That focus action was not the best. Landing dock does have a 33% chance just to make it land anyway on lethal. And there's one more reroll in the bank for NightBring3r. But it's the only action available to Reflex, so he's going to take it. %33%, and it hits. Ooh, beat the question. Step ahead of him. What, you gotta just take a break? How are you gonna take a break in the middle of this? This is absurd. All right, score 1-1. Fighting Pit definitely gives Vader a huge advantage. These the days certainly would have helped him. But he probably doesn't want it in his opening hand. Wouldn't be surprised to see him just pitch Seize the Day and keep the rest. Those three mitigation cards really work well against Watto, even in his pre-nerf state. I guess just as well after because they're still blue. But Forsaken might be a little awkward here. I think Reflex wants to use Respite, so he's got to get Vader in, resolve a die, let things sit where they are. This also turns on the Fighting Pit. That is one perfectly resolvable damage side, and we're going to see the Fighting Pit happen right here. At least we should. I would think we would see the fighting. Big money force side with Fear and Deadman to follow. And NightBring3r has to just cold flank this force side, which he chooses not to do, and he will be punished heavily for it. Let's see there. Yep, that's 2 damage. So a total of 2 actions. Watto's going to die. Can get the money. He can just go for it. But even this is pretty risky. This pushes him out of resolvable delve money for that Vader's Fist. I have to get either money off of Watt's die or focus into a +2 is most likely on the Watto die. At that point, even a hidden motive to clear the +2 out of there is helpful. The reroll effect does a lot of work there. I think we see this 2 get resolved because Reflex's action sequencing to prevent free money income might have to be hidden motive or doubt on a Watto die, followed by Forsaken on Watt. No natural money there, and it's an even right on top. Yet nothing. Pitching a reroll. Don't blame him. He's got that Fear and Deadman in hand. Wants that resolved. But he might take the money. If Wada doesn't roll into Disrupt. Does not. Gets back up into Delve range, though. He's happy about. And hits his 1 and 6 on the doubt. Doubts are not being kind to Reflex today. Should just take that dollar. Get what you came for. Certainly takes both of these dollars, though, because that gives him even better fist damage potential. And Reflex finds his foreside. It is going to get resolved for a Fear and Deadman for 12 damage. Right down NightBring3r's throat here. And a 3 damage follow-up. With possible Vader's Fist could get Forsaken at some point here. Not likely, but it is possible. And Watto falls as the first casualty in this final game of the best of top format. Watt, target number 2. Already more than half damaged. And that is a perfectly resolvable 4 indirect. No reason why not. Reflex keeping his options open. Trying to draw that best defense. Not resolvable. But Reflex does not want to give up control of the fighting pit. I'll take my chances. 3 direct damage. Now 11 damage with just 1 damage die. Normally sounds really good. Problem is when you take 12 off of one of your opponent's dice. Only 9 health remaining. 12 if you count this witch magic in hand. Flank on the first Vader die that's threatening is not bad. And the 2 best cards, other than Reach the Stars, get pulled out due to Probe. Triple blanks. 1 better than double blanks. And he's just gonna get Talzin out. You can't just get Talzin out there. I think you need to flank a Vader die to force the next action, just to get out from underneath Reach the Stars. I'm not sure why Flex isn't playing Stars, or why NightBring3r hasn't chosen to play Witch Magic yet. But if he flanks a Vader die and then he best defenses them, Watt still has 1 health left. He'll eat a die. But you get out from underneath Fighting Pit for the most part. At the very least, you make Fighting Pit a pain in the ass. The only thing you don't have is money. That's the option to reroll again, I think. And shields. But as it stands, NightBring3r is pretty well locked out of rolling in either of these characters. Like, thinking about resolving that 2 damage. 5 damage does not actually end the game in his favor. It is conceivable that he'd be worried about losing Vader here. Out of range for Fist, but not out of range for Fist plus Talzin. Is that even accurate? No, you can only take 5 direct. Maybe worried about a follow-on Fickle Mercenary for the base 2. In which case that Vigilance would have come in handy. Now NightBringer cannot roll out. Without Witch Magicking first. Witch Magic definitely going to get used on Watt here. 2. Only lets him die from one side of Vader's dice. And next round is not looking very promising for NightBringer. He really needs to slam 6 more damage or 5 more damage in Vader here. Reflex, knowing that, might actually choose to Fighting Pit the non-shield die. Nope. Says, I want someone dead. Whoa, that was weird. That's really weird. That was a strange. Wants to keep his best defense on it. Second best defense drawn for Reflex. I would not want to go into this round having done very little in my previous, knowing that I had Vandalize, Planetary Bombardment coming up. You know you can't play it. Like, here, the only option you have throughout this is flank and then best defense. That is approximately the maximum you can. Good to see Sinister Piece come out for that Fist die, discarding Mauls. Yep. Let's Reflex try to find a resource on the Stormtrooper. We go maximum aggression with the lightsaber, but seems unlikely. No vigilance. Prevent this. And the Fighting Pit is actually in Nightbringer's favor. Finds an odd. Threatening 5 damage. Best defense coming out for both of them. That is 1 dead Stormtrooper. But we're going to see the same thing happen here. Watt has to pass to keep the flank up. Flank definitely happening. Fresh supplies definitely getting thrown away. Put that back in the pool. Interesting choice. Still planning on the Fist, I guess. In case Vader rolls resource. I don't think that it is worthwhile to best defense that. That is realistically only 1 shield represented. And Watt dies anyway. I think that that extra dollar might have been more beneficial, especially if you're giving up control of Fighting Pit to walk away. Does prevent this fist from coming down right now, though. So upsides found. Nightbringer thinking about playing as Fickle as his first action, which I don't agree with. Get that snatched right from you with no way to take it back. Not like Disrupt 2 is particularly relevant. Snapping off, immediately finding nothing. Not that there is anything to find. Talzin is at 7 health remaining total. Not the easiest to find off of 2 Vader dice with nothing to follow up, but any resource side certainly seals it. And there it is. I don't see any way that Nightbringer is going to walk out of this match. When Vader's fist comes down, any natural damage resolution will get there. Any natural damage here means a focused 3 and a fighting pit prevent anything else from happening. Bringer gets the Fickle out. Could get 5 damage, which still isn't enough. Especially not in the face of the shields. Those shields are resolvable. And the Fickle 3 for 1 are not. Free indirect, whittling away at Vader. Still no power action. I think is a slight mistake. I think you lead with a power action. Because if his fist die gets stranded out here off of these 2 rerolls, that's a huge opportunity loss. And I think Nightbringer needs to discard a reroll. I don't think he can afford to pass. He just damage off of this die. I didn't see it because I am player black. And I don't know how far back those claim pass things were. I'm pretty sure he did hit pass. That is a red pass after a claim. This is weird. So, thought process here. I mean, your next action's obvious, Reflex. I'm not giving you any leeway on that. My thing is, if this was an in-person game and someone said pass, no wait, I would hold them to the pass. I don't know where a misclick falls into that because does a misclick actually exist? You have to mouse your way over to the pass button and you have to press the pass button. your mouse, or like for it to be an actual misclick, I think you have to just be hovering over the pass button, which makes no sense. So, sorry, Nightbringer. Ad stands. It is awkward. Awkward call. Well, it's resolvable. It is resolvable. Yeah. I forgot. Yeah, okay, so he didn't strand it. He's saving himself in action. All right. Fair enough. I'm dumb. I'm sorry, Reflex. I'm sorry. Sorry I called you dumb earlier. Forgot. And one final shot at a resolvable damage side. He finds one damage. Definitely going to get resolved. Well, maybe not. Reflex has to choose to get this 2 damage in or to pass. He passes. If he passes, Nightbringer can deal his 1, wait for the pass and double pass, or just take the 2 at that point, get 2 damage of his own, and then 4 out of 6 Vader fist sides are lethal, but no, I don't see any way for this to end in Nightbringer's favor. Reflex simply first action, power action on Vader's fist, flip it to an indirect or a range side. Luckily, it does have double at odds. Combat it, but it's gonna be really difficult to do that with Seize the Day, making it a guaranteed resolution. Power action goes into any damage side, gets resolved. Womp. Vader reigning supreme yet again. And for what it's worth, with any of that interactivity, the extra damage from the Fickle Mercenary would not have mattered. Vader would have survived with 1 health remaining, barely squeaking through. Power of Vader's fist. Power of Vader. Not even an upgrade in that game, but Fear and Deadman doing dirty deeds. Reflex moving on into the finals. I think this would be his third Artificery League finals. So, yeah, it is what it is. There was some really, really weird rolls on both sides. I think they both have solid points there. But yeah, I mean, I don't think there's anybody who would say 12 damage from 1 die isn't bullshit one way or the other, whether it's Vader's fist or a Vader 4 side. I think that's pretty crappy to be on the receiving end, no matter which side of the table you're on. But we'll catch up with Vader later. We'll see who he ends up playing off of the result of the next top 4 game, which let me check my little thing here. That is going to be between Malicious Malloc and Ruined Shadows. That one should be pretty entertaining. I'm looking forward to commentating that one. And I will catch everybody later. And the next Artificery League signups will be going up shortly. So by the time you're watching this, they're probably already out. But you didn't register because you like waiting until the last minute. Please don't wait till the last minute. Go register for the Artificery League 11 right now. And that'll kick off either right before Gen Con, right after Gen Con, somewhere around that time frame. I haven't quite figured that out yet, but the signups are up. Go do it. It's going to be fun. Spark of hope. We got zombies and Ewoks. It's going to be